Hello students, myself Professor Ankur. I welcome everyone for the GATE sum session on analog circuits. Today we are going to solve important sums from miscellaneous problems. This is our fourth session on miscellaneous problems. Let's start with the session now. So this question from GATE 2011 ECE paper, and the question is, assuming base emitter voltage of 0.7 volt and beta equal to 99 of transistor Q1, the output voltage VO in the ideal op-amp circuitry shown below is. So we are supposed to find the value of output voltage VO. So for this, if you observe the circuitry carefully, you can see a transistor Q1. The collector is attached to 5 volt. There is a 33 kilo ohm resistor, and at the base we are giving a 5 volt supply. The non-inverting pin of the op-amp is at plus 1 volt. So now we have to go for a solution. So the solution is, since V plus pin is equal to V minus pin, that will be equal to 1 volt. So now we can apply the value of VE as 1 volt. Automatically VB will be 1.7. So I can get the value of IB as 5 volt minus 1.7 divided by 33 kilo ohm. So that is the KVL to the input loop, and you will get the value as 100 microampere. So we know the value of beta as 99. So IE is 1 plus beta times IB. So the value of IE will come as 100 microampere into 100, which will give me 10 milliampere. So this is the emitter current, and the same current will flow through the 100 ohm feedback resistor. So automatically the value of V out can be defined as V minus IE into the 100 ohm resistor. So V minus is 1 volt minus IE into 100, that will be giving me 0. It is all KVL to the output loop. So automatically the output will come as 0 volt. Hence we can say that the output of the circuitry is 0 volt. So the correct answer is option C, 0 volt. This is from GATE 2009 EC paper. And the question is, in the circuit shown below, the op-amp is ideal. The transistor has VBE equal to 0.6 volt and beta equal to 150. Decide whether the feedback in the circuitry is positive or negative, and determine the output voltage V at the output of the op-amp. So there are 4 options given. Option A, positive feedback, V is equal to 10 volt. Option B, positive feedback, V is equal to 0 volt. Option C, negative feedback, V is equal to 5 volt. And option D, negative feedback, V is equal to 2 volt. So this is a circuitry given to us. There is a transistor with the collector at 10 volt with 5 kilo ohm resistance in between. At the emitter, we are having a 1.4 kilo ohm resistor connected to ground. The op-amp is having minus pin at 5 volt and the plus pin is attached to the collector terminal. So again, we can use the property of the op-amp that the V plus potential is going to be equal to the V minus potential, because it is idealistic behavior of the op-amp. So now, since V plus is going to be equal to V minus, so the value of V plus pin will be 5 volt. So the collector voltage will be 5 volt. So we can find the collector current as 10 volt minus 5 volt divided by 5K, which will give us 1 milliampere. Now we are taking IE equal to IC equal to 1 milliampere. So the drop of VE emitter voltage will be IERE, which will be 1.4 volt. So the node voltage V is going to be equal to VBE plus IERE, where the value of VBE is 0.6 and the IERE value is 1.4 volt. So total addition will give you a V of 2 volt. So since V is 2 volt, The correct answer for this question is answer D, V equal to 2 volt, and the type of feedback which is being utilized here is negative feedback. This is from the GATE 2008 EC paper, and the question is, the inverters in the ring oscillator circuitry shown below are identical. The output waveform has a frequency of 10 megahertz. The propagation delay of each inverter is. Now, if you observe the diagram carefully, there are in all 5 inverters connected back to back, or you can say in cascade arrangement. So we are supposed to find the propagation delay of each inverter, and we know the output frequency, which is 10 megahertz. So the most important point we need to understand here is, when we talk about the output, if you start with output as 1, it will get inverted to 0, then inverted to 1, and so on. So the 1 will come out as 0 when it is passing through 5 inverters. So now the output will go to 0 when it has passed from 5 inverters. Now this 0 will be given again, and it will complete an entire cycle of again 5 inverters. Then it will come out as 1. So if your observation is very sharp, to get a complete waveform, which is a composition of a 1 and a 0 final output, it is basically a total frequency of 10 megahertz. To get that total output of 10 megahertz, the 1 was propagating through the loop circuitry through 5 inverters, and then the 0 was propagating through the loop circuitry, that is 5 inverters. So overall 10 inverters are utilized to generate the total frequency of 10 megahertz. So with that concept, we can say that overall you can find 10 inverters being utilized, 5 inverters for getting the output as 1, and then the remaining 5 for getting the output as 0. So total number of inverters for generating one cycle is 10. So delay will be the cycle time period divided by 10. So since it is 10 megahertz as the frequency, the inverse of that will be the time period divided by 10, which will be giving us 10 nanoseconds. So the correct answer for this question is answer B, 10 nanoseconds. I'll repeat what has happened in the question. If you start with the output as 1 at t equal to 0, we can get a 0 at the output after the energy passes through 5 inverter circuits. On similar lines, now we will get 1 back at the output when the energy again passes through 5 inverter circuits. So overall, the total number of inverters utilized for getting one single wave of the output or one cycle of the output is 10. That's the reason the delay or propagation delay of each inverter will be the total cycle time period divided by the count of 10, which will give us 10 nanoseconds. So this is the answer.